Принц и Нищий, The Prince and the Pauper, Mark Twain, страница 153, Chapter 30, The Coronation Procession. Old England royal processions usually took place before the coronation of a new king, and so on the morning of the 20th of February, Tom Canty, richly dressed, led the procession on a beautiful white horse. His uncle, the Lord Protector, and other great lords, also on horses, followed him. From time to time a cry rose from the crowd of people who were watching the procession. From time to time, время от времени. Long live Edward, King of England. And in answer to that, Tom Canty threw bright new pennies into the crowd. The procession moved on and on. Tom turned his happy young face to the left and to the right, and every time when the crowd shouted, "Long live Edward, King of England," he said with a happy smile, "I thank you with all my heart." Then among the people he saw two of his ragged comrades from Awful Court. One of them had always played the role of the Lord High Admiral in Tom's mock court. The other boy had always acted the First Lord of the Bedchamber. Tom felt sorry they did not know that he, their mock king, had become a real king. At the same time, Tom's heart was full of joy and happiness. "This is all for me," he said to himself. This thought made the mock king's cheeks burn. His eyes were bright. Suddenly, just at the moment when he was going to raise his hand and throw some bright pennies into the crowd, he saw a pale, surprised face of a woman in the crowd. It was his mother's face. Up flew his hand, and he quickly covered his eyes with the back of his hand, as he always did when he was surprised or frightened. In a moment she pushed her away through the crowd and past the guards and was at his horse's side. She took his foot in her hands. She covered it with kisses. She cried, "Oh, my dear child, my dear child!" Mock Court, потешный королевский двор. Up flew his hand. Рука его быстро поднялась. In a moment she pushed her way through the crowd and past the guards. В одно мгновение она протолкалась через толпу и стражу. She lifted towards him her face, which was changed now with joy and love. Tom was just going to say, "I do not know you, woman," when an officer of the king's guard dragged her away from Tom's horse, and she disappeared in the crowd. When she turned her face to him to see him for the last time, it was so sad and unhappy that a shame fell upon him. The shame was so great that it killed all his joy and all his pride. They fell away from him like old rags. The procession moved on and on. Tom's heart was full of shame and sadness now. He neither saw nor heard anything. He rode with bowed head and sad eyes. Long live Edward the Sixth, King of England! But there was no answer from the king any longer. He did not even hear those cries. He heard only his own voice repeating the words, "I do not know you, woman." Little by little the people began to see the change in him. Lord Protector Hertford also saw it. He rode up to Tom's horse, took off his hat, and said in a low voice, "Your Majesty, you must not dream now. The people see your bowed head and your sad eyes. Lift up your face and smile upon the people. Tom obeyed and tried to smile, but his smile had no heart in it. His mother's sad face was before him. The Lord Protector said to him again, "Your Majesty, the eyes of the world are upon you. What has made you so sad? Is it possible that it was that dirty Pauper, an officer of the king's guard, телохранитель королевской гвардии?" A shame fell upon him. Ему стало очень стыдно. His smile had no heart in it. Его улыбка была неестественной. Tom turned to him and said in a dead voice, "She was my mother, my God," groaned the Protector as he rode away. "He is mad again."